Okay, here we go. Mastermind with Neil Schwartz with our special guest today, Mayra Rivera from Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome, Mayra.
Thank you so much, Neil.
All right.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for
Very,
having me.
very exciting. Very, very exciting to have you here. Mayra, I just wanted to ask you a couple questions, maybe to get started, introduce you a little bit to our staff. There's already 75 people on here. We want to bounce off at 200 today, so help us do that, okay? So give us a little bit of you, like how you started in the business, how long. Did you start in Las Vegas? Is that where you started your business?
Yes. So I started my business here in Las Vegas back in 2015. That was my first year. I got licensed 2014, right after college. So real estate for me, when I was in high school, I always wanted to have a license, but like many of us know, it's not the first career option that you pick. It was more for me, like I want to have my license for personal use and as a hobby because I had no idea. The reason why or how I landed into real estate, because my family has no real estate background. My background is actually with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department here in the city.
It's a natural.
A natural transition, right?
Exactly.
Completely unrelated. Customer service is completely different in the two areas. So I was working with them since I was 17 years old. I was working with the police department. I worked 17 to about 22 years old. I was at the Clark County Detention Center, so working with inmates at the same time as going to college. So the reason or the way that real estate came to be is because at the time, during those years, which was like 2013, 2014, the police department was cutting funds, or for whatever reason, they didn't have academies coming up. And my goal was, because my background is in criminal justice and psychology, my goal was to go into the department, into law enforcement, and start, moving up the ranks on that side. However, since they weren't hiring and they told me, hey, you're going to have to wait about a year or two, and I was graduating in about 3 months, I'm like, yeah, no. Part-time is not going to work for me. I need a full-time commitment within the next 3 months, or I'm switching to something else where I can grow. So that's when I decided to get my license.
So it makes total sense working with buyers in criminal justice system. I understand that.
Yes. I mean, it came in handy when it came to go door knock expireds. It wasn't scary to me at all.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, Robert, we got to send everybody to the prisons.
I just made note of that.
Okay, thank you. All right. So Mayra, did you start with expireds? I mean, did you connect up with Juan right away, or was there another company in between? What happened there?
There was a company in between. So I was very used to structure within the business or interviewing into a job, that coming in as an independent contractor per se, or where you come in and you can pick where you go versus they hire you, was very different for me. So
Okay.
I knew I wanted to come with the Century 21 brand. I've been with them my entire career. So what I did is I went online. I ended up at a different Century 21 office. It didn't work for me because I needed, as a new agent, completely different field, I wanted guidance. I stayed there for a month, realized this is not what I'm looking for. One of the agents was nice enough to introduce me to Juan Martinez, which I interviewed, and that was the end of that. So I came in, I sat with Juan. I'm like, hey, this is what I am used to. This is what my background is. I have my license. I'm going to be doing this supposedly temporarily. He just looked at me and he's like, okay. He's like, that's not going to happen. He's like, you're not going to leave. So now looking back, I'm like, Juan, yes, you're 100% correct. Right. I should have listened. I would have moved a lot faster. But yeah, so I sat down with him. He laid it out. It made complete sense. It had the structure I was looking for, and I made that move immediately. So I want to say I was 1 month licensed when I started with Juan Martinez.
Got it. So that was in 2015 sometime?
It was at the end of 2014 or mid 2014.
Okay, got it. And so I know Juan's about telephones. I'm not sure if you do doors there because of the heat.
We do. So when I started with Juan, it was towards 2014. He is very strict on Mike Ferry, a lot of phones, a lot of door knocking. So
Right.
yes, it was the phones, expireds, FISBOs, just listed, just sold. For me, because later I went into the Mike Ferry organization, the Premier Coaching. So
Mhm.
my coach would tell me at the end of every day, pick a list of expires and go door knock them. So for me, I've always preferred face to face. During the day when people are working, I would do the phones, but in the evenings, I would prefer face to face as a new agent. I mean, I had all the time in the world. At the
Right.
time, I didn't have kids. Now I have two. So I just went and I would do whatever they told me.
Congratulations. Good job. Very coachable. That's what I heard about you.
Thank you.
So tell me, in the beginning, your first year, I mean, what kind of production?
So my first year, after the transition from the first broker to this one, which it took a few months, had
Sure.
some difficulties there.
Sure.
I want to say I did about 8, and that's when I had my first child. So I
Okay.
took a few months off there towards the end. When I came back 2015, I convinced my fiance to get licensed as well. So when
Okay.
I came back after my maternity, he came in as well, and we became a husband and wife team,
Great.
2015.
Okay.
From there, we worked just the two of us until we built up our production to the 30s. And we signed up for Mike Ferry the second year into the business.
So that was 2016-ish?
2016-ish, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so 2016, you went into coaching at about 30 deals.
I think I was at 20 something deals right when I went into coaching. Yes. At about 30 is when our coach pushed us to hire first assistant.
Got it. And in 2021, what did you guys close?
We were right at 60 transactions.
60 deals in 2021. And what are you on track for 2022?
Our goal this year is to hit 100 transactions.
100 deals. And where are you closed and pending now, 4 months into it?
Right now, was it
More or less.
honestly, yeah, right around 15-ish.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you got your work cut out for you.
Yes. So usually for us, the busier months are the summer months. So every single year for us, it's always been those middle months where most of the production comes in for us.
Interesting. Good. And your business comes from where? I mean, is it, you've been in the business long enough to have some past client and sphere business, correct?
Yes. So majority of it comes from our database. I would say probably like 60-70% is database. So past clients, repeat clients, people that we may know. So we've been very, very big on expanding the database. So if we have, for example, because for us, when I started, we were helping our age group's parents per se. Our age group wasn't quite ready to purchase. They still needed work history, credit, or whatever the case may be. So the way that we did it is we started helping the client, which was the family, or the head of household at the time. And I kind of adopted the children or whoever was coming next, because I knew in the next year or two, they were going to be ready. So we started adding them in there as like separate contacts and doing the follow-up or the keeping in contact with them separately. And since they're two very different groups, I guess you can say. So when we prospect to our database, we divide it into that way. Like we have a certain half of the database that is social media, that is they like email, they like e-signing, they prefer text. But we also have the other clientele that does not know how to e-sign. They prefer in person, they prefer phone calls. So we make sure that we have it in our database on which way is more productive for those. And also Spanish or English, because we have both.
Sure. Makes total sense. Very smart way of approaching this. Good for you. Excellent. So you have them sorted by age demographics, and which is one way to approach them. And then you're approaching them separately from that perspective. So an older, quote unquote, older client, you wouldn't be doing as much social media with, and the other way around for a younger client. I like that. I think that's very smart.
Yeah, so kind of like implementing, like the younger clients, they see us every single day on social media,
Uh-huh.
or they prefer text. But if we know that a certain piece of our database does not see that, we make it a point to kind of add a little bit more contact to them that caters to that. So not so much like the demographic of age. It takes a big piece in there, but more so how do they want to be communicated with. So I think when we make those initial contacts or that initial client that comes in, part of the onboarding per se of them into our database would be, how do you prefer to be communicated with?
So do you actually ask that question, or is it through a series of questions?
Yes, we actually do. So in our initial consultations, so our buyer consultation or our listing appointment, we'll have like a separate sheet of, let's say myself or him, or if one of my agents is sitting with them, then we know to ask, here's the contact information, what's the spouse's name. Not every time are both on a loan, for example. So we want to make sure we have both of the information. And it happens quite often that we start a transaction with two, 2 years later, they divorce, then they contact us separately with new families. So now we have 4 out of 1. So we kind of make it a point of reaching every single piece. If they have children and they're at the age that they're going to be coming into the market soon, can we advise you and guide you towards that so that it continues to grow out of one contact?
So a couple questions on that subject. How many people in your database?
I want to say we have about 500 to 600 right now.
Okay, and that's what, so you've taken your past client and seer base very seriously from the day you guys started.
Yes.
Okay. And so who's the database person, or do you have somebody else that does the CRM for you? You guys do
That
it?
would be me. No, that would be me, since that's
That
our
would be
deadline.
you.
Yes, so I scrub it. I make sure that that one is scrubbed every few months, and every year we're reevaluating it, where we sit down, me and my husband, and we're like, okay, well, what pieces work this year? What pieces need work, community service wise? And we have certain clients, kind of like what Juan likes to tell us to call them is like the AAA clients, the ones that we are going to contact a lot more often than the rest. But on
Right.
top of that, we make it a point of every year we contact those clients that refer us the most business, that give us the most like referrals or recommendations, testimonials, and we ask them. So this year we grew our business by X amount, or we this and that, and you're very valuable to our business. What feedback can you give us? Especially during the pandemic. What would you like to see us? How can we cater to you? What helped this year? So we start tweaking it based on the recommendations of our own database.
Very smart young woman.
Thank you.
Very, very smart, very bright. Good for you. That it leads me to the questions that, did you pick up any of this because of your database or the training that you got from the police? Or is this just innate in you?
Well, when I went into the police department, because my whole childhood, I wanted to go into law enforcement. So I did, since I was like 8, I kind of started, I said, this is what I'm going to do. So I started training towards it, supposedly me. So I did Taekwondo, I did martial arts. My major in college was criminal justice and psychology, because I figured psychology would help me understand my I guess they wouldn't be clients, but the criminals or whoever I was going to be dealing with, the people,
Right,
the people that I would be dealing with. Lucky for me that I think more so the psychology part is what's helped me and transitioned over from my experience with the department. It's more so the structure, the respect towards people, being very direct and clear on what's the mission, what's the goal, and how are we going to get there, or how do you want to be spoken to, and listening, because listening is key.
Yep, absolutely. So 60 closed transactions in Vegas. It's worth $600,000 to $750,000 gross income.
Yes, so we hit right about five something last year.
Got it. Okay. So that's a little bit more than you'd make on the police force.
Oh yeah. We like that piece too.
Yeah, good for you. Excellent. Okay, The market's changing in California a little bit. I suspect it's changing a little bit in Las Vegas too. Am I correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, interest rates are rising, inventory is more houses are coming on the market, less properties are selling. Are you finding similar kind of things?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So
The
how do
buyer
you,
side is getting a lot harder as well.
when you say a lot harder, what do you mean?
As in getting offers accepted, how
Ah.
competitive the other offers are when you're submitting offers for your clients.
So question is, what are some of the things that you need to do different for the balance of this year that you haven't done or you have done, but you're just going to do more of than you did, the last year or two even?
Yes. So I would say my entire career, I've been pretty balanced between 50-50 on listings and buyers. We are very diverse on like the type of client we have in our database, but we try to look into them as in, we're both very analytical, me and him. So we'll kind of look at it as in, how do we target, how do we cater, but at the same time, buyer and seller, when are they going to come into the market? And as far as tweaking it this year, we've noticed that the seller side obviously is a lot easier to do, but the buyer side is getting a lot more competitive. So what we've done is we've tried to leverage the two to kind of get information on how this one is doing to help this one get better. At the same time, in 2019, we decided we wanted to move the buyers a lot quicker, because we all know listings is the name of the game. It's what we all shoot for. It's going to be what feeds the business. It's the most important piece. So listings is always number one priority. But we do have a team, and we do have so many buyers coming into the market. In our age group, when we started, I was 23, 24. So the people that I went to school with, the people that I worked at the jail with or in college, they were barely coming in. So I knew that buyers was going to be a big piece of the market, but I had to simplify it somehow. So in 2019, my husband and I decided that he was going to get mortgage license as well, because lenders don't work weekends and we needed to speed it up. So that way he can either do Zoom pre-approvals or go, I would take the listing appointments, he would take the pre-qualifications, we would get everything moving. So our clients on the buyer side were a lot quicker, and it gave us a lot more information into how can we make those approvals faster. So as far as tweaking, that was a piece, making the pre-approvals faster. Knowing more about them and me being able to pre-qualify them better, so that when we're writing our offers, I can tweak everything else, like the contingencies. How much can I reduce per client, or what things can I change on the buyer side to make the offer more appealing, to move it faster?
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really good stuff. So that's some of the changes that you're going to be making. How about in terms of, well, let me back up just a second. Do you guys, and I think this is a base of what Juan teaches his team, do you guys spend a lot of time in role play or learning scripts and dialogues? Is that stuff that you still do?
Yes. So when we were with Mike Ferry, that was something that we did all the time. Like, the role play in the morning, then we would do the 2 to 3 hours of prospecting. I'll be honest with you, in 2020, we kind of had to change it a little bit. So right now, I'm doing a lot. I'm still prospecting, but instead of the role play, I've kind of incorporated a little bit more of community organizations for referrals.
So you're working, when you say community organizations, are you talking about, what would you be referring to there?
Community events. So any community festivals, any grand openings, anything that I can go and prospect to more people all at once, or more people in person.
Interesting.
And the reason why I did that is because in 2020, because there was no in-person, and when you would call someone, because of the uncertainty or the lockdown that we had, I had a lot of buyers uncertain about the market. I want to wait. Sellers, well, I can't show my house right now, so let me just wait until we can show it for me to list it. So since I ran a lot into that, the calls that I was getting the most, or from my database, what I was getting the most is uncertainty, people being worried. So it became more like a shift from, we're still keeping the basics of prospecting in mind. We're still asking the same questions, but we're adding that piece of comfort. So we had to be like the calming force between, yes, these are unexpected times. Yes, we're kind of at the mercy of, can we show what laws are put into place with restrictions? But at the same time, they knew to contact us. So that calming force worked because they were in contact with us. They were coming to us for their questions. If they had any, we became kind of like the resource, not the real estate resource, but like the what to expect resource. So that from 2020 carried on a lot of transactions into 2021 by referrals.
Got it. Great. So where did the inner strength come from? Must have been a little bit scary as March of 2020 hit and everybody, kind of, whoa. Where did you get your inner strength? Or is that just innate again within you?
Well, 2020 was very interesting because I found out I was pregnant with my second baby in January of 2020. And then February, hey, COVID-19.
Right.
March, we had a shutdown. So it was very interesting, and I guess a lot of hurdles, different, very unexpected hurdles, because even like the doctor was telling me, oh no, we don't know how this affects pregnant women. You cannot talk to people. You can't go in person. You can't this and that. I told her, I'm in real estate. I'm sorry, give me something else. I can listen to you half and half. I'll leave CrossFit, but I cannot leave work. I'm sorry. So we kind of compromised, like, hey, I'll leave this piece, but I have to work this one. So I had to kind of tweak it as far as now I have two on the way, and this can't be paused because we all know in real estate, 90-day cycles. You don't work today, you're not going to get any paychecks in 3 months.
No money.
Exactly. And then the inner force, I would say, is I have a lot of accountability and within myself, like these are my goals and I can't abandon them. I also have my family and I have my team. So whatever is going on in the world or outside, these things don't change. And every year it's going to be something new. So no matter what it is, you just have to find a way to adapt to it.
So it comes, do you read any special books, listen to any special people? Is there anything that you can share with the group that might be helpful?
Yes, of course. So it depends on what part of my business I'm working on, what I'm reading. So for example, if I'm practicing my presentation, I'll be reading books on communication. Right now, my biggest piece is systems to make, the goal is to have the business very McDonaldized. Like every person knows their role and has their list of what they do. So right now, what we're trying to do is make that even simpler and make it to where the whole team knows what the plan is. And it's just a simple here, on to the next, to make it a lot smoother. So right now, I've been reading the same book as Juan Martinez has, the EOS.
EOS.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to help kind of go off of the systems, because I think that makes it a lot easier, and it makes you, or me personally, it makes me a lot more confident and less stress of what's going on in the office to go out there and talk to people, to prospect, if I know exactly what's going on in the office.
Got it. Very cool. So Mayra, what's your superpower?
Superpower, I would say, is versatility.
Versatility. Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. So you don't think you're structured as much as we might perceive you're structured. You can move from one thing to the other?
Yes, exactly.
Because you kind of come across as this is your way or the highway.
I think if it comes to your business, because they're your goals and you have to get there, so you can't deviate. With myself, yes.
Okay.
However, with the client, it's different. It's kind of like Mike Ferry says, you have 4 different personality types. If you get fixed to being the way you are, you're going to be limiting your business to 25% of those prospects. But if you can add versatility into your personality or into your team, then you can cater to the whole pie.
Okay.
That's cool. The idea of it.
You've referred to a team. So tell us what that looks like.
Yeah, so it is myself, the lead agent. I have my husband, who's also an agent. And I have one buyer's agent. So all they do is the buyer sides, and one transaction coordinator.
Got it. And that's the basis of your team.
Yes. At some
And-
points, I've had two buyer's agents. Right now, I'm in the process of finding another one.
Another one?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. But your business runs about 50-50 anyway, right? 50% buyers, 50% sellers?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Excellent stuff. Very, very good. Okay. Mind taking some questions from our group?
Yes, of course.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Questions for Mayra. Oh, raise your hand, put up a note. Donna, you got your hand up first, or just holler out, but Donna, you go first, please.
Okay, just a second. Sorry about that. I had a question about the community events that you get involved with. Do you actually get a table, or do you just go to the event and talk to the vendors and the people that are there?
Yes. It's funny because I actually have gotten tables at sporting events. I have a 7-year-old and a 1-year-old. So for the 7-year-old, he's in sports. So I did try getting a table at events at his school for like fall festivals, sporting events. But I find that I always leave the table because I prefer to be talking to people. People don't come. So what I did instead is I stopped doing that, and I just started going and talking to people, because it's, I guess, in my mind, the way that it is if my target is to make 20 contacts, I'm gonna go and sit next to 20 parents or 20 people in the that are sitting watching, or whatever the case may be, snack bar, the bathroom, whatever it is. But if my goal is 20 contacts, I'm gonna make sure I make those 20. If you're at the table, you're kind of stuck unless I have someone from my team working that. The other organization I sit on is NARIP, so the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. So we do have events there, which also helps with agent communication or agent relationships, because when you're sending your offers, you want to know, it's beneficial to know the other side. It's beneficial to know the other agent, for them to know you and know how you work, so that you know that you can get your clients to like a mutual understanding and a smooth transaction. So that's also helped a lot. That's another thing that I've tweaked because of the way the market is and how hard it's been for the buyers.
Got it. Excellent. Very, very good. Okay. Thanks, Donna. Great question. Other questions for Mayra? Hands up, yell out, whatever you'd like to do, please.
I have a question, Neil.
Go ahead, Tess.
So you mentioned earlier that with your people, you actually connect with the parents, right? The older people. How do you stay connected, or how do you get that database of the kids?
When they come into the buyer consultation, I always encourage and invite, well, first of all the decision makers. As we learn in Mike Ferry, the decision makers have to be there, whether it's a buyer or it's a listing. But at the same time, who else will be, if it's a buyer, for example, who else will be living in the home with you? Who else will have an opinion on the house? How many bedrooms do you need? Or why do you need that many? So as in asking questions, you get an idea of, oh, what's going to be us and our son, but he's in college, so he's in and out. So college.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
as you're talking to them, it's kind of asking questions. Why do you need certain criteria? And they kind of tell you who is included, who has a say, and you add them in. And then once I know that, I encourage for the whole family to come in. So we can sit down, see the overview. I can give you the market update. I can give you what's available, explain what the process like. That way the whole family knows how this process is going to be going forward, and it's less stressful for you. So I make it a point to try to get as many of them there. And once they're there, I take down their information and I do ask them, so when are you ready? So what can I do to help you get ready? Oh, well, it's because, I'm going to school, student loans, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. You kind of have that also separate conversation on, you're making them comfortable to come to you when they're ready.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good question, Tess. Thanks. Thank you, Mayra. Who just popped up?
Yeah, Mayra, Miguel Sola here. Quick question for you. So I love the database. I probably spend too much time on my database, but I love it. So going to you call, and then you have your socially elite, text media clients. Do you ever call those people? Like,
Yes.
just fewer times, or is it just mainly texts and what, or social media connections? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yes, so I do the same calls for all of them, but I keep in mind that these are not going to see social media. So let's say we put out any content on social media or anything, we know that they haven't seen it.
Okay.
Versus when you call the ones that do, a lot of times you call them and they're like, oh my goodness, this and this and that, and they'll refer to whatever that is. And you know this one won't because they haven't seen. So if you want to make sure to get a message across, you know that you have to contact them directly. And that's why we kind of make a note of that, so that we know these we're going to be touching a lot more than these that don't have it. Another piece, since you like social, the database, another thing that we do is we have Century 21 has a preferred client club. We have them all registered on there, birthdays. So we make sure that we're in front of them a few times a year. And at the same time, at the end of the year, we have a client appreciation party that we incorporated in 2021.
Okay, so right there at the technology part of it, for example, I'm a data collector. I have everyone's phone number, but then there's also that social media group that, on Facebook that I don't have their phone number. So when they hit a like, or you see that they've seen your post, do you then jump on the social media and just say, hey, blah, blah, blah. And do you connect that way?
Yeah, I do. If
Okay.
I'm missing anything on their contact, I call them, I ask them. Or if I have, let's say, like, for example, I have one right now. It's the mom, the dad, and there's 3 children.
Right.
I have 2 of their numbers and the parents, but I'm missing one. So I will call the sibling, remembering what that other one does. Hey, I'm looking for a contact in this area. I know your sister has some experience. Is it okay if I give her a call?
Yeah, I like
What's
that.
her phone number?
Yeah,
Then
I like
I
that.
call her, connect with her. Hi, Mayra, remember I helped your family with the house. I was just wondering, I remember you mentioned that you knew this or you worked in this area. So I kind of help them that way, where it's like they're a resource to me, I'm a resource to them. Let's work together.
Okay.
And when you do that, they automatically start coming back to you as a resource for real estate advice. And also they start referring business, which is also very important. So it's okay to ask for it. It's a very casual and comfortable way of asking for it. And just, I guess, confidently and without being shy, ask for it, and they appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, beautiful. Thank you. Thanks, Miguel. Thank you, Mayra. All right, other questions? Very good stuff going on here. Anyone else?
I guess I have another question. You said instead of role playing, you said you had like consultation groups.
Oh.
Is that, did I hear that correctly?
I think it was 2 separate things. So yes, role playing. So we were in Mike Ferry. So the role playing is the same way. So the same scripts, the same objection handlers, everything's still the same. So it's the same questions. Just like they teach you in coaching, what we've done is we've memorized what questions to ask, and then all the in between, we kind of cater to whatever fits our style of presentation and also who you're presenting to, if that makes sense. So when we practice, we do practice asking the same questions, but we're also changing into, okay, well, what helps a lot, it has been, especially because we have a team. So how helps a lot is, okay, well, X client that we have, because if you personalize it, it's a lot easier to visualize. So let's say, for example, we have this client, Sandra, for example, right now. So like, because of her, the way she is, the personality style, how would you ask these questions? How would you get her to make a decision based on what's important to her? Okay, now let's switch it. If it's not her, if it's this one. So we try to do it with 2 different extremes. Like, this is an amiable versus this is a driver. How would you ask, or how would you get them to decide something based on what they have told us that they like? And within our team, what we do is we do meet on Mondays and Wednesdays. So Mondays, we do sit down with every single buyer that's out on the market looking. What have they seen? How many offers have they sent? What have they sent? Have they changed anything? Have they strengthened anything? Has their motivation gone down? All of those things, so that we know, and we're tweaking it weekly, and I'm calling them and I'm asking them, have we answered all your questions? What is it that you're that's holding you back? Or to kind of start tweaking, I guess, the offers that they're sending to get them accepted faster. And I guarantee you, a lot of times if you ask, they do change. The
Yeah.
ones that didn't have the funds to go over at one point now do, because of the information you're providing them weekly.
Yeah. What a powerful thing to do is to break up the client into personality types. And I think that's really a game changer. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Miguel. Thank you, Myra.
I have
Okay,
one more I have one more question, Neil.
I have a question.
okay, well, this is the Miguel and Tess show. It's okay, guys. You guys have great questions.
Yes.
Okay, it seemed to me, Mara, is you're very analytical. Okay,
Yes.
anal and everything. So when you're doing reviews for your client, what's the system that you use? How many times do you communicate with them? And then when you're getting those reviews, what's your system? I just want to know that.
So the normal 90 days. So for everyone, the 90-day follow-ups, but
Uh-huh.
for certain ones, for like the AAA clients, the monthly. So it's typically a call. And if they don't pick up, then a follow-up text. So just connecting with them every month. And I guess the value that you bring is like every time you're calling, we have a point or something of value to bring them, but we always tie it back to real estate. So we never directly tell them, when are you ready for the new house, or who do you have at the beginning, because it kind of starts the conversation going, that at the end, once you do, then that reminder makes it a very natural, oh, you know what? My coworker the other day was talking about selling her house and this and that. So then it makes it a lot easier to close it. And it's so much, I guess the more you do it with the same people, it becomes so normal that they start allowing you, I guess, to ask them more directly, and they don't see it as weird anymore. Like they actually send you, I'll have clients, hey, Mayra, I'm busy at work, but here, so-and-so told me they wanted this, and they'll send me 2 or 3 numbers and names at the same time, because it's so natural for them to go and find people for you, because you've kind of, you let them know that you're here for that.
Got it. I guess my real question was this, because right now, with being so social media or internet savvy, the question really is the reviews, like the customer service that you offer. How do you actually get them to give you, you know, you are my raving fan, you know what I mean? What's your system is what I was really asking.
So are you referring to like the reviews, the ones they write for you under your name? So yeah, so I have a template
Okay,
on my email, and then
Alright.
I put the links of every site that I would like them to review for me. And we ask for it, we send it to them right when they get their offer accepted, and we send it again at the end when they close.
got it.
Because when they get their offer accepted, or they accept an offer, they're at the highest peak of happy. So a
Excited.
lot of them, yes, they're excited, and they want to go in there and do that for you. If they do it at the beginning, in the middle, now you already have one. And if they haven't, then at the end we ask again. So it's not like hey, you forgot about my review, and it's an awkward ask. It's a natural. You send it right there when they got their offer accepted or accepted one, and then at the end again.
So two touches on those review.
Exactly. And then I also touch it again at the end of the year, the last quarter. If I the ones that didn't review that we worked with in that year, then I'll mention it to them again, like, hey, we're doing our end of the year review. We're planning for next year. So we were touching all the clients that we worked with this year. I was wondering if you could do me a favor and give us some feedback. And the way that we show our future clients how we work is through referrals and through testimonials from past clients. Would you mind doing this for me? And then send them links again.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's nice.
All
I have a
right.
question.
Sure, go ahead. Is this Denise?
Yes, this is her.
Go ahead.
So when you say your Class A clients, and these are the ones that are supportive and referring business to you, how are those conversations? How do they sound like, since they're already sending you referrals? Like, what does that conversation sound like by asking for more?
Well, first of all, every time they do send me something, I do call them when they get their offer accepted, for example, if it's a buyer, or where they accept something on their seller. Like, hey, just want to let you know the client that you sent me, we were able to get them XYZ and they're very happy. Thank you. I appreciate it. And at the very end, hey, so-and-so that you sent me, we did close on their home. They're extremely happy. The kids love the backyard or whatnot. So kind of personalize it a bit so that they know that at the end of the day, we are salespeople, but we're also people oriented. We have to, we care about the client. So people will refer you more people if they know that besides your structure for your business, because we're business owners, it has to be structured, it has to be direct, firm, profitable, all of those things. But at the same time, when you're dealing with the client, we're humans, they have families. So if we add that personal piece here, then when they refer to you, they're referring clients to you happy because they know that you're going to take good care of them to that extent. So if you personalize the, hey, we got their family into the house, they got the backyard they were looking for, then they're like, oh my God, she's not just trying to sell them a house to get a commission check. She's selling them the house because that fits the family. So they're happy to send you more, especially in this market.
Awesome. And then do you also like, I know there's a few agents that give gifts or anything like that in regards to referrals?
Yes, we do. So we do give them closing gift baskets. We try to personalize it to them based on what we've learned about them throughout the transaction. It gets trickier as the team grows because you don't touch them as much as you did at the beginning. So they meet at the very beginning. They do not see me, the buyers. They do not see me during the process that they're looking until the very end. But I am talking to them throughout, and I am communicating with the buyer's agent that's showing them. So I'm 100% informed through the transaction. So when I sit with them at the end, I know everything. So it's like I was there the whole time. When it comes to the gifts, we try to tweak the personalization a bit. We add plaques that are handmade to make it a little more personalized for them. And they love that. They love that it's not just a business transaction, but it's also personal because it's your family.
Right. Excellent. Good stuff.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, great. Great question, Denise. Thank you. Other questions for Mayra?
I have a question, Neil. So Myra, you mentioned that right now or in the past you were really, I forget, I don't know if it was right now or in the past, you were really working on systems.
Yes.
So what systems are you working on? What systems are you working on? How, like, what do you mean by that?
So we have always worked on systems. So you will create systems, and as the market changes or as your database grows or your team grows, then you'll have to start adding more. So what we do is we set a certain, like the EOS book will kind of give you a little bit more on that too, where every quarter you have set goals on the systems of what you want to do instead of work. So you're working on your business per se. So I think that's important to constantly always be adding to the business, because as you grow, you're going to have different needs. So for example, systems as in when I get a buyer approved, what's the first step? What's the second step? What does the presentation look like? What happens after? How often are you checking in on your buyer's agent on the progress of that buyer? What happens if you get to the 2 weeks and they haven't sent a single offer? What happens? You know, so at that point, we know, let's say, for example, majority of the business, we prospect for the business, we get them pre-approved already. So when we're handing these buyers to our buyer's agents, they're not warm or hot leads. They are pre-approved, ready to start looking today, right after I meet with them for the buyer consultation. So they already know, okay, well, I'm meeting with them at 5, I'll be done by 6. By 6:30, we should already have something scheduled for them to go and start. They're going to be ready to go for sending offers. So like that system, for example, we set that one where we know every single step. As we continue to grow, it's harder for you to call. Let's say you have 20 at the same time. You can't call them all on one day. Like before, we used to say, okay, well, let's call them on one day, Friday, for updates. Can't call that many. So then we kind of start splitting into others, or we start kind of tweaking the system to see we're not dropping on the customer service, but we are finding a way to cover it all. So I guess that's what I would mean with systems. Like, how do I tweak a certain system if it's not working as well, or if the market tweaked, or if our database increased or something increased where now I need to do more of. How do I duplicate myself, for example?
And still be with your children, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly, yes. So
Right.
I do have baseball games and practice 3 times a week.
Right.
So how do I still make it to that while at the same time not dropping the ball over here?
This has been great, Mayra. Fantastic. Congratulations on your success. You're a young entrepreneur. You and your husband have built a really great organization, and you're going to be doing this for a lot of years to come. So looking forward to really, really good stuff. Let's give her, unmute yourselves. Everybody unmute yourselves. Give her a big hand. Woo! All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayra.
Yeah, good job. So what we do now, Mayra, is we're going to hang here for just a little bit. We asked the question, what did you learn? You're welcome to hang with us. If you have a hard stop, we totally understand. So either way, but really, 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 from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And congratulations on what you've achieved and what you will be achieving in the very near future.
Thank you so much, Neil. And it's an honor to have been asked by you to come on here. So I think one thing I'd like to ask or add, complacency is very common in our industry. But if you have a circle of people that you look up to, certain brokers, Neil, Juan Martinez, Mike Ferry, people that are doing more than you, then whatever you get complacent about, like, hey, you know, I did 60, great. No, 60 is bad for me. To me, I feel like, that's just 60. That's ridiculous. Like, we could do more, because you have a circle of people that are doing so much more. So if you have to expand into different circles of people that are doing more than you, I think that is key. Or people that you look up to, like, look, Neil has an amazing organization. So does Juan Martinez. So it motivates you to keep going and not become complacent.
You know, like we say, Mayra, you're absolutely correct. It's if you're the richest, smartest person you're hanging around, you need new friends.
Yes. Exactly.
All right, very good. Thank you again. Appreciate it. And let's go around the room. So what did we learn today, everybody? What did we learn? Who wants to lead us off?
Here, I'll go first.
Go ahead, James.
Okay, so I learned a kind of an angle I hadn't thought about before about communication and tailoring my approach to young versus old, and kind of the reality of social media and how I need to kind of up my game in that, and you know, like kind of be a chauffeur to somebody, you know, new to the market and kind of enter them into the market. And the thing about texting is so true, how they don't like to talk on the phone, which is kind of bizarre for me, but you know, the young ones, asking them how they want to be communicated with. I love that.
Now, very good. Excellent idea. I also like the way that was sorted out. It kind of helped me figure out what I was working on too. So yeah, good stuff. Okay, what else did we learn today?
Neil, also the fact, just piggybacking on that, she said personality style. So, you know, grouping them, or, you know, what I'm going to do for my clients is for each client, I'm going to go ahead and go in there into the system and put what personality style I believe that they may be, right?
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I would suggest, because sometimes we can get lost in this, is that we go put everybody's personality style in at the when the business suffers. So on all new clients, do that going forward. So it's a now thing, and then take 10 from last week and go backwards that way. But don't sit there and do 400 this weekend, please.
Yes.
No, I don't mean,
sure.
I know you won't, Abigail.
No.
I was concerned about the other 90. All right, good stuff. What else did we learn today? What else did we learn?
You know what I liked, Neil. I'm sorry, Tess. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Nope. You go.
He's not gonna go before you, Tess.
Not a chance.
For her, being that she's very analytical, she really puts a game plan, you know, of what her system will be.
Uh-huh.
Look to me. I forgot to ask her, is she what's the percentage of her business with sellers and buyer? I wonder,
It was 50-50.
50-50?
Yeah, we talked about that a couple times, right? Right, Myra?
Yes, it's 50-50.
Yeah. 50-50.
Yeah, she has a system in place and she's very analytical and very
Uh-huh.
pretty too.
Thank you.
Good job. Thanks, Tess. Good. Robert.
Actually,
ahead, pop that one, Robert.
Tess pretty much stole my answer. So, glad that she went first. Because what I had written down, aside from just the points, is I thought was really impressive is she's very structured. So every question you gave was not an let me think about it. It was, here's the answer. And then you'd ask another questions. Here's the answer. Here's the answer. This is the system. This is how we do it. This is the number. Like, it's so perfectly structured. That's probably why she's really great at getting listings, because she probably goes on a listing presentation and it's here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this comp, boom, 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 just all the way through. I was really impressed on just how structured she was on every question you gave her. It was very impressive.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
They got Mayra on here interviewing her.
I'm sorry.
Mayra Rivera on here. Neil Schwartz is interviewing her.
Can't hear you.
Hey,
I don't think he was
just
talking to
wanted
you, Neil, but it was a
say,
good point.
Part of what Robert's saying about just the power of clarity in just being able to have the clarity of what you're doing and your goal, that nothing's going to stop you, because that's just the way it is.
Totally.
It's just really strong.
That is. It's clearly that comes across from her. Clearly. And in fact, a lot of the superstars, that comes across is with complete clarity. They're on a mission and they're going to do it. Others, if it gets done, it gets done. Maybe, by the way, what is today? Those kinds of things. Mayra, we included your name and phone number and how to get in touch with you. So if any of you want to send her a referral, that information is in the chat box now. So good stuff to her and her team. Okay, what else did we learn today?
Yeah, Neil, I really like, this was solid, how she goes to events and she doesn't necessarily sponsor the table because you literally get stuck at the table. Yet what she does is she goes out, I call it mingling. So she's out mingling with other people and getting to know them. And what an incredible mindset, where you're always thinking about contacts and relationships and how to build and who can I meet and put the name with the face. I think that's important. And then she has her kids sports, which is something that I did, was, you got the roster of all the parents' phone numbers and emails, gently massage that and turn them into past clients, and it pays off. So I thought that was
your key word is gently.
Gently.
Strategically. Yes, be very, very careful with that, because that can blow up in your face. Yeah. Absolutely. Good stuff. Good, great. Thanks, Miguel. All right, other things we learned from Mayra today. Anyone else?
Well, the other thing I also put down, Neil, is when I asked her about the system, she was talking about how you always have to work on your systems, things like that. And it would just brought me to, Mike Ferry 101 of upgrade everything, upgrade all the time. And she clearly does that because she's constantly upgrading her systems to upgrade her business. So I just very, very coachable in that particular regard. So she is constantly upgrading her systems and her business and stuff like that.
Yep, absolutely. Really good stuff. All right, everyone, unmute yourselves, please. Unmute yourselves. Let's give her a big hand. Woo! All right.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you.
So Neil, what was your big takeaway?
It really was the conversation about taking each client and deciding how you need to communicate with them. Because, and we've talked about this many, many times, Robert, in some of the meetings that we do on how we talk to agents. Do we text them? Do we email them? Should we call this group? And, there's no only one way. And it never occurred to me to actually do it by age lines, because there's definitely some lines there. I mean, look, I'm on the other side of the line in terms of age. I would prefer being texted. Okay, I prefer communicating in text. And then when I can't spell anymore, I pick up the phone. So that's how I work. Armin, is that?
Yeah, one of the things I noticed about her was because she has all these structures in place and she's so prepared, so I guess analytical, which I'm not, Neil, but so prepared that she has this confidence that I see that when she does run across something, she's confident that she's gonna get the deal. Do you feel that way when you run across people that want to sell their house, Mayra?
Yes. So I think regardless of if you know the answer or not, most of the time you want to be prepared so you have it, but it's okay not to, because we're the expert in a certain area. So if they ask me about something that I'm completely unsure of, you know what, that's an amazing question. Let me get back to you. I want to make sure I have the right answer. So as long as you answer them with confidence, they appreciate that way more. And then also like what Neil mentioned on the personality types, I think that's helped me too with escrows. Let's say title's telling you, hey, I can't get in contact with this person. Well, yeah, he's an attorney. He's busy. He's probably in court. Text him or email him. So you can get your answers a lot faster too. And they appreciate it because if they're giving you some time, some of them are so busy in their lives, they only have this much to give you. So you have to deal with that time to close their transaction. If it makes their life easier that they only gave you this and you did that, then they're going to appreciate that way more.
Awesome. And I see an absolute honesty in you.
Yes. Thank you.
Quick question, Mayra, I'm sorry, got cut off. Is the EOS book, is it the orange book? It's by Gino Wickman?
Yeah.
And okay.
And Gino Wickman is the son of Floyd Wickman.
Yes. And they also have Traction. That's another one. And the 4 Laws of Execution.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Similar that I really liked. I like that one better because it has a little more psychology than EOS.
Oh.
Abigail, if you're looking to make yourself completely turn yourself into a pretzel, that book will do it.
Yeah.
If pretzel means making more money, I want to be a pretzel too.
It's an amazing book.
And it's good stuff. Okay, very good. Again, Mayra, thank you so much. Appreciate your time, and we'll make sure that all the agents that need your information to send you referrals will have it. Okay?
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great year, and for next year, start planning for it.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.